Did you meet your husband or wife at work? Did you meet your forever person at work? I want to hear from you. Working closely with somebody, you can develop feelings. Remember the whole Coldplay incident between Kristin Cabot, the head of HR at Astronomer, and her boss, CEO Andy Byron?
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. Yes. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
When I hear that, my heart just drops because they were in shock. These two worked together in high-powered positions, both at the time married to other people. Now, I did not know that Kristin Cabot was separated. And according to Andy Byron, to Kristin Cabot, he was separated as well. Well, part of that story is untrue. Kristin Cabot sat down with Oprah, and Oprah asked, were you separated? What's going on? Here's part of that.
So maybe 4 or 6 weeks prior to the Coldplay concert, my husband and I had decided to separate and were living apart and planning for a divorce. And Andy Byron, my boss at the time, he and I had a very close working relationship. We work side by side. And so we were really in it together and spent a ton of time together. And it was about around the time that Andrew and I, my husband, had separated, and Andy and I had gone out to grab sandwiches during the workday. And he asked me, I seemed a little off, and he just said, what's going on? And I said, well, my husband and I are separating and planning a divorce. He immediately let me know that he was in the exact same situation, that he and his wife were living apart. They were planning for a divorce, and it had been many years in the making. So that became like a really instant kind of point of connection for us. You know, I was really surprised when he told me. We didn't talk a lot about our personal lives prior to that, so I didn't expect to hear that from him.
Okay, so these two are close. They're working together. She mentioned something, and he mentioned something too, and then they just start getting closer and closer.
This sounds very convenient.
What about it sounds convenient?
I feel like there's she's obviously going out there to set the story straight, or at least make it sound the way she wants it to sound, and that's why she's sitting down with Oprah. I mean, I don't know that you're ever going to get the real story out of her, because I don't believe that, do
you think she would lie?
I believe she's trying to save face, yeah.
I don't think, I can't imagine that someone would come out.
Well, conveniently, she was separated 4 to 6 weeks before. And and let me tell you, the embrace that they had on camera is not the kind of embrace that you have with somebody that you just started seeing. I don't think
that they just started seeing each other. I think that might have been the first time they touched. When you are close with somebody and you work with them every single day and you develop a relationship, and I know this personally because you and I are married, you feel a connection that is undescribable.
There is no way in the beginning I would have ever sat there and held you in front of people like that.
There were a lot of things you did.
There's no way
that Coldplay could have called us out on. Okay, look.
I don't think you guys are the morale police on this one.
We're definitely not.
Definitely not me.
No, I was over here like throwing this woman under the bus. She was separated. And listen to this part. Her husband was even at the concert. So Kristin's friends gave her the tickets, all right? She claims she didn't go out a lot. She was separated, so she had the kids all the time. She decided to go. So how did Andy end up at the concert with her?
It was like such a no-brainer to invite Andy. When I say we would talk like 10 times a day, that was even before this connection started. It's just the nature of our job and our working relationship. Plus, we were, enjoying spending time together, and it just seemed like lunches at work.
So everything had been business up until the Coldplay concert?
Yes.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
Was there a little whisper saying, we should tell somebody, or we should...
It was more than a whisper.
Okay,
it was like a real conversation where we sat down and said, we have to figure out a plan for this, because these feelings are real. This wasn't like a fleeting thing. And we decided that we put kind of a plan together, but we wanted to propose to our board of directors that would change the reporting structure.
Didn't you tell me that you were thinking about going to the board, or you all were going to go to the board?
We ironically met probably 5 or 6 days before the concert. We had a lunch that was a lengthy lunch to talk about this. But then I was like, I'm in Gillette Stadium. There's 55,000 people here. I'm probably not going to run into them. But it doesn't matter. I mean, that would have been better at the end of the day if I just run into him.
You all hadn't touched. That's what you said to us earlier. You hadn't even touched.
Well, we did that evening before we started to touch before it was on camera. But
Okay, but that was the first time you all had physically touched.
Correct.
Each other's
Correct.
Okay.
Other than like a, tap, when you're chatting with someone and you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you do it then?
I had a really big crush on him, Oprah.
Yeah.
And so did he. I mean, these were like really incredible feelings. And I don't know women that could relate to this, but I had been going through a really tough time. I was coming out of a separation, and it felt really good to get attention and affection from an awesome man.
That part I felt so deeply in my bones, because I remember catching feelings for Otto. We were just friends. We'd go to lunch. and wanting to be closer to him. I'll never forget it. Rachel's
And
on
that's
line
why
one.
I think that they're creating a narrative.
Rachel is on line one. This is before we touched or anything that I felt that. And I know you did too, because you ran up a $700 phone bill, sir, almost. Okay, we hadn't touched one bit. All right, Rachel, welcome to the Dana Cortez Show. So you met your husband at work?
Yes, we were both teachers together in our
Okay.
first year teaching at the same school.
Okay, what were you with other
Oh.
people, or you were both single? Everything was fine? Like, how did it happen?
I was single, kind of coming out of like it's complicated
Yeah,
situation.
yep. I get it.
And like a 3-year it's complicated situation.
Ooh, messy.
And it was like we had both moved to a new city, and he was kind of in a casual relationship with, again, long distance.
Yeah.
And so we were both like technically single, him a little less single than me, but it was not committed.
There we go with creating that narrative.
Oh,
All right, go.
my gosh.
I don't
He
know
was
if you
not
know the
his
definition of
girlfriend.
technically.
But no, I understand what Rachel's saying. Like, it's so complicated, especially when you start catching feelings and you weren't even trying. Like, you're just like
No,
hanging
we were
with
friends for
Right.
2 months first. Like we played trivia together after school, and we were both like first year teachers in the trenches. Like we kind of bonded as friends first, and then we kind of kept it secret for like a year. And
You
now
have
we've
to.
been married.
You have to.
Yes. We've been together for 16 years.
Wow.
We're married.
Oh,
We're married with 2 kids.
Oh, it was meant to be. But can you understand what Kristin Cabot is saying about develop?
Oh, absolutely. When you're together every day, especially like if you're in a stressful work situation, you become war allies, right? Like you're in the trenches together, you bond together, you go through that same kind of trauma.
It is trauma. It is exactly
is.
that. You're growing together and you're trying to both achieve this goal. And it doesn't mean that everybody you work with that's going to happen. You just might get lucky though. And I mean
And I
that.
imagine like you and Otto, like y'all's job is very special and interesting that like a lot of people don't understand. And I think it's the same with teaching. Like if you're not a teacher, you don't get it.
Right. You love
and
what
so
you
there's, like,
do.
a
You love
bond.
it and you
There's a
need it.
bond
Yes.
that happens.
Yes.
Of like nobody else understands what I'm going through right now.
Oh, I'm just so happy you guys
I got a
have been
question
together
for
for
you.
16 years.
Which student figured out first that you guys were together?
So actually, none of them. They thought he was dating the Spanish teacher next door just because they saw them together next door, and I was in a different part of the building. So they actually never put it together, which was hilarious.
That's so cute, though, Anna, that you would ask that. Because you know the students be nosy, girl. They be nosy.
Oh, yeah. We both teach high school, so they're super nosy.
Oh, I know that's right. The thing I want to know is, are they still together? Think about and Otto, I'm very disappointed in you.
What am I saying?
Because
that's
you're
disappointing?
attacking this woman,
Well,
and
you
when
want
the
to make it
moment
into this like romantic love
I didn't
story,
make it
and it's
into
not
romance.
that.
I'm not making it into romance. I'm making it into reality. The reality is you can develop feelings. You can catch feelings
Obviously.
without touching someone. Because you and I were together. Let me
Settle
tell you
down,
something.
woman.
No, my husband now, DJ Automatic, used to DJ. Well, he still does, obviously. But he'd be out, okay, at the clubs. He still is. But he would not go party. You know what he'd do? He'd call me. We hadn't touched. We hadn't done anything. You would call me. And this is
That's
before.
called laying groundwork.
And this is before you could call people and just get like free calls. He ran up the phone bill. I still remember he said, my dad's so mad because you used to work for your dad as well. The phone bill is $682. I can't believe it. I'm going to get the same phone company as you so I can call you for free.
You robbed me from the crib, Dana. That's
I'd
why
rob
I'm
you from
still
nothing,
on my
sir.
dad's phone plan. That's
Nothing,
how
okay?
young I was.
What I want to know is, are they still together?
I ended communication with Andy in mid-fall. There was a big miss on honesty and integrity. He wasn't the person he represented himself to be. I want to be really careful because the world spoke for me and on my behalf, and I don't want to do that to somebody else in their family. I don't feel comfortable. But I will say, like, a lot of what was represented to me was not true.
But will you verify again, as you said to us earlier, that he had told you when you told him you were separated, he had said to you he's going through the same thing?
Unequivocally.
Okay. So you believed when you were standing with him at the Coldplay concert.
Being the one that was attacked for this with, he's remained silent. To me, that's not a quality that I would look for in a friend or a partner or a boss. So we have no relationship now.
What would you have wanted him to do or say?
The entire trajectory of this would have changed if he would have just made a quick statement to say, my wife and I were separated at the time of the concert, just like my husband did.
Well, obviously he wasn't separated. And she's not going to say say anything because she's like, look, he's going to have to deal with it.
I'm sure his wife didn't want him to say anything. She'd already been embarrassed in front of the world. She didn't want to double down on it.
I get it, Otto, but like, I would want you to say something. I would want, as a wife, I would say, you better step out there and you better say something. You better apologize to me publicly. You don't apologize to me publicly, Mr. CEO. I'm taking 60% of all of your earnings from the past. She said
that's the other thing he had to worry
up.
about. That man's a billionaire.
And obviously he doesn't care though, right? I mean, the fact that Kristin has been the one to take all of the brunt of this, been called the worst names that I could never say on the radio. While Andy Byron has it just happens. It's disturbing to me. It's upsetting to me that she's been the blame and the reason for, people to just call her these horrible names. It just makes me mad. It's so easy to blame her when he was the one who was lying. The man was still married. He was not separated at all.
On behalf of society, Dana, I want to apologize for everybody. I'm sorry that we're doing that. I don't think it's like, I feel you, but also I think he does equally blame, because when it all came out, we just classified how much of an idiot he was for standing there and doing all that information. So he is equally dumb, but I do feel you with, like, she's getting a lot of the blame, and I don't think she's lying, mainly because she's talking to Oprah. Like,
Same.
You can't lie to Oprah.
Because Oprah will find out and put you on blast.
Yeah, you can't lie to Oprah.
Oh my gosh.